What's going on, everybody? Thomas with Alpha Concepts here. We're going to talk about a hot topic. I've got a lot of questions from some of my students regarding what's going on right now with protesters blocking the streets and when force is justified to use against them. Usually the question is worded in such a way, can I shoot them? And we're going to talk about that right now. Okay, so you're driving down the street, you're in condition white for whatever reason, you're not paying attention, maybe you're talking on the phone, that's pretty common, and all of a sudden you come up to a group of protesters. What are you going to do? Let's say you look in your rearview mirror, you can't go in reverse, you're blocked in by a car, they're not moving, you can't go right, you can't go left. What are you going to do? The question posed to me, can I shoot? You know, and the question is why? Why would you shoot? Force might not be justified. Okay, so in the words of Masad Ayub, he talks about the perfect affirmative defense, having the perfect affirmative defense, and that requires all three things be present: the ability to cause death or great bodily harm, the opportunity to cause immediate death or great bodily harm, and the intent to cause immediate death or great bodily harm. If all three things are not present, ability, opportunity, and intent, you don't have a perfect affirmative defense, and force, which is likely to cause death or great bodily harm, is not justified. Okay, so let's look at that. Do the protesters have the immediate ability to cause death or great bodily harm? Disparity of force, meaning their sheer numbers, the number of protesters, could equate the ability. Certainly if they have clubs or baseball bats, contact weapons, could equate the ability. So those are things that you need to weigh, consider, and decide in a split second. Do they have the ability to cause immediate death or great bodily harm? Opportunity is next. Do they have the opportunity to cause immediate death or great bodily harm? Well, let's look at that. Certainly if they have guns, right, that it would equate the opportunity. If they're unarmed, and you have shield, your glass is a shield, there's no opportunity. If they have bricks or baseball bats or clubs or something of that nature, then those types of weapons could easily smash the window, and your lawyer could probably argue that yes, they do have the opportunity to cause immediate death or great bodily harm. So you have to think about that. But then you also need to think about intent, and this is important. Intent is not something we can't read their minds, right? So intent is something that is articulated through their words and their actions. Okay, so if they're standing in front of you and their hands are out and they're saying stop, 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 maybe there's somebody laying in the street in front of you. Okay, so there might not be intent to cause immediate death or great bodily harm. However, if they're kicking your doors, if they're banging on your windows, if they're pulling on your handles, would a reasonable person, meaning a judge or jury, would a reasonable person conclude, knowing what you know, in the time that you know it, meaning in this time period, would they conclude the same as you, that they have the intent to cause death or great bodily harm? So that's something that's going to be situational. Nobody can give an answer saying, yes, you can do this if you're blocked in by protesters. Because the fact of the matter is, in most jurisdictions, if you run into a group of unarmed protesters who are truthfully peaceful, we're not talking about peaceful protesters, I mean literally a group of peaceful protesters only for the reason that they're blocking the road, in most jurisdictions that's going to land you an all expense paid vacation in the county jail. Okay, that's not something you want. So let's be responsible adults, and let's really think this through and leave the internet bravado aside. So we're talking about ability, opportunity, and intent to cause immediate death or great bodily harm. When we sit down and we think about that, people, let's assume that all those three things are there. Yes, they've got the ability. Yes, the opportunity. They're smashing on my windows with clubs. They're yelling, "I'll kill you," whatever. Let's assume all those three things are there. Then, as I started, most people will ask me, well, can I shoot? And my question is why? Why would you shoot? Your vehicle can be a weapon, a lethal weapon, just as a gun. But the advantage of driving the vehicle is if I press on the gas, I am not only eliminating the threat, I am escaping the threat. I am getting out of a threatening situation by pressing on the gas. That is assuming if I can. That is assuming that there's no immovable objects in front of me. The fact of the matter is, most people, most protesters, as a human reflex, are going to get out of the way if I start pressing on the gas. I might not even need to press too hard. I might just need to take my foot off the gas and start rolling, and people will start getting out of my way. And I know there's going to be one or two diehards that are going to get in front of me, that they're going to think that they can defy the laws of physics, and their 150-pound body or whatever is going to be able to stop my car or my truck. And obviously you and I both know that's not true. But I might not need to smash the gas. What I would do, and I'm not a lawyer, I can't give you legal advice. What I would do, if presented a situation where I felt my life was in immediate danger and there are protesters in front of me that I believe are going to cause me immediate harm, is I would press on the gas. The level of danger would dictate the speed at which I would go. Okay, so just something to consider. You don't always need to shoot. Just get out of that situation. You know, of course, if I can go left, if I can go right, if I can go reverse, those are the things that I'm going to do. I don't want to use force, and if I have to use force, I'm going to use the least amount of force possible to end that threatening situation. Okay? But let's imagine now, you know, we play the what if game and you change one small scenario. All that was predicated on the assumption that I felt my life was in danger and I could go forward. So let's imagine we change one piece of the scenario to the what if game, and now the question is, if I can't go forward, there's an immovable object in front of me. There's a burning car in front of me and I can't go anywhere. The car behind me is not moving. I can't get up on the sidewalk. Well, should I shoot? Could I shoot? I'll tell you this. If I felt my life was in danger, or my kids were in the car, I felt their life was in danger, if I felt I had no other choice, then I would act swiftly and decisively, but also reluctantly. This is the absolute last choice to use any sort of lethal force in any sort of situation. So can you shoot? Maybe. Can you run them over? Maybe. Did you feel like your life was in danger? And it's not enough just to say that. Yes, I felt my life was in danger. People think that's a get out of jail free card. Your lawyer needs to be able to articulate why, and a reasonable person would need to agree with your articulation. Keep in mind, the perfect affirmative defense, the ability, the opportunity, and the intent to cause immediate death or great bodily harm. Be armed, be trained, and be alpha.